Hey guys, I'm Keely Mahan.
And I'm Ella Goforth.
And welcome to Chatterbox.
Chatterbox is our new podcast that we're starting for teen wellness and also for the family too. So not only for teens, but adults outside of the high school can also watch it. We are doing this for our capstone project. So for the high schoolers, this podcast will be linked in the announcement slides. And for adults, we will be sharing this on social media platforms.
Yep. And big thank you to Ryan Shear for donating this awesome podcast space, getting us all this equipment, and really helping us through this. He's been great. He's awesome.
So our first episode, we are talking about friendships and relationships. So how do you feel like for you, how friendships and relationships affect your life at the high school right now?
I feel like when you feel like you don't have anybody, you definitely feel more alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely makes you more stressed out, more sad. I feel like the school days just drag by whenever I feel like I don't have those friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, whenever I get in a rut like that, I don't do anything to try to get out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can help myself, and I don't. And then but once I get out of it and I'm back to feeling like myself, it's fine. But when I'm in those ruts, it's I feel like I don't have anybody.
We're kind of different. Whenever I have issues with anybody, first I'll confront them about it. But really for me, I will literally shut down and just not talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
That's my really big thing is take two. My thing is I just feel like I can't talk to them anymore after the problem. And that's not how that can go. I need to be the bigger person and contain. One fight doesn't mean anything, but
yeah,
I just feel with high school now, even when me and my dad were talking, a year or two ago, he said in your lifetime, there's only a handful of people that you can trust, if that. And he said his mom, his wife, my mom, and then his 3 friends. And that's the only people he will ever be able to trust. And then, that just really stuck to me because it's he's right. I can only trust my parents, my boyfriend, and maybe 2 other friends. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I really cannot trust anybody because the way social media is now in our life and people always posting and I feel I just don't have you just don't have those good connections anymore.
Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And it is really hard to find people you can trust. But once you do, you know that person, and you know the people that you can't trust. But then sometimes people can be so fake. You think you can trust them. It's well, they just went and told everyone my business. So
yeah, and I think that's a really big thing that now we're on. And even for teenagers, we have those, but for adults too. I know a ton of adults. All adults have drama. They say, you'll grow out of it. You'll be more mature.
And it gets worse.
And
for an adult.
It's now they're stuck with not even our friendships, but now relationships are an even bigger part.
Yeah.
It's really hard finding people that you can trust and have those friendships and relationships with that are that strong enough that you want to keep in your life.
Yeah.
It's a huge part. It's a huge part of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Introduce our next guest.
Okay, for our first guest, we are going to have Miss Conti. So, cut to her, I guess.
Cut.
Hi. Okay, so do you just want to introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, what your job is.
Sure. So I work at Lebanon High School. My name is Heidi Conti, and I'm one of the school counselors. And all the school counselors, our job, we really try to cover development in 4 different areas. So academic, social, emotional, and then career development. So everything we do is kind of in one of those 4 areas.
Yeah. She's actually my counselor. She helps me with a lot of my issues too. Okay, so for our first question that we would like to ask you are, what are some positive or negative effects about relationships and friendships that you see? Either you could talk about the high school or you can talk about adults that you see in general.
Yeah. Well, one really interesting thing I think is for students, really any age, having just one positive relationship is shown. Research shows that it makes a difference in academic success, social, emotional. So even just one positive relationship. So relationships are huge, but I know that they're complicated, and finding someone that you trust or that you feel comfortable with is really hard. And so in the high school, especially, I know I see a lot of people wanting good friendships or relationships, but then not knowing how to communicate or maybe even how to resolve conflicts. So something that was a miscommunication blows up into a whole huge breakup or a friendship break off because they didn't know how to talk out their conflicts.
How would you recommend people to talk out their conflicts? Like, I know that social media is a huge thing. They won't do it face to face because they're not used to that anymore. Like, that's something they're not used to. Me personally, I like to call or do face to face. So how would you recommend them solving a conflict, or just like get rid of those toxic people out of their lives and keeping the ones that truly are trying for the best of you?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the first decision to make, is when there's something that has offended you or hurt your feelings, to decide, is this a relationship that's worth my time to try and repair the relationship? Because maybe it is something that's toxic or not helpful. So then that can just be someone where you have space. But if it's a relationship that you care about, you want to try and work through it. I know social media is the go-to, but really trying to go face to face to that person, and in a time when you're not in that angry, hurt emotion. So probably not right away.
Such a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
So communication is definitely hard.
Yeah.
I just don't have any patience. So it's like, I want to fix the problem right there and now. So I hear that a lot. So I need to take your advice and just wait until the frustrations get out of me, then talk to them, because I do feel like that does solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
When you're not in like a really emotional or frustrated state.
But also, like, for me, like, trying to communicate with someone and tell them how I'm feeling makes me feel bad. Like, I let my friends tell me how, like, if I've upset them, I'll let them talk to me, however, rant to me. But then, like, I would never reciprocate it because I don't want to make people feel bad. So I feel like that's where communication can also get mixed up, because it's like, I don't want to say how I feel because I don't want to make you upset or hurt your feelings or anything like that. But also, I know I need to communicate, because how else are we going to get things resolved and fixed if I'm not? And, like, I don't know if you are like that.
No, just I get straight to the point. I tell them how I feel. I am very straightforward. I like to tell people how I feel, and then sometimes that's bad because then it's like I'm too straightforward and I come off wrong to people. But like with you, like you just let it die down because you don't share those feelings, and that can be bad. But for me, sometimes it's just like I overshare, and then the argument just keeps going on and on.
Yeah. I think it's really big that you recognize that about yourself, because everyone does have their own conflict resolution style. I tend to be more of a avoider. I don't want to confront it, but it's good to have a balance, to recognize your natural conflict style and then do what you can to kind of find that middle ground of, okay, I need to push myself to go tell this person it hurt my feelings, because they may not even know, or recognize I tend to like go right at it and maybe I need to take a second to cool off. So it's good that you recognize like what yours are.
Yeah. Okay. Another question we have is, when do you see like a decrease in mental health in teenagers? So like, is there a certain time of the year? Is it around like final exams? Is it around Christmas time, holidays, like stuff like that?
I think in general, it does seem like towards finals, so the end of each semester, there's a bigger stress and anxiety and people are ready to be done. And so it's a little bit shorter. I think the winter kind of in general too is when people are just down, or they're cooped up more and not out in the sun.
I've seen that. Sorry. I've seen that actually like a lot on social media. Like winter just makes you like blah. Like it is truly the weather that makes you this way. And like everyone's like, oh, I'm so ready for summer, because summer, you just like, it's the sun. Like you need the vitamin D, you need the sun. And then like when winter's there, I do truly feel like everyone just gets into that state of mind of, I'm done. Like, I just want to be by myself. Like it's truly just like draining almost.
Yeah. I will say, I think in the last couple years, I've not noticed as many ups and downs. It's kind of just a constant, every student I talk to feels overwhelmed, feels stressed, and I haven't noticed as much of the ups and downs lately.
I feel like it's just because it's getting so common lately, maybe that it's just like steady, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I really don't know which one's better, the constant or just up and down.
I mean, I think the constant kind of worries me because then there's just more of your. It's pretty natural for people to have stress. That's a natural body response. It's designed for our bodies to protect us. And recognizing healthy stress, lets you know, okay, I need to rest or I need to avoid this situation. But whenever you see people who are at a constant stress, that has an impact on your body too in a negative way. So it worries me that people aren't realizing coping skills to handle with their stress.
Yeah. And I'm a junior this year. Ella's a senior, so she's graduating. But I know, like, me and all my friends, like, we'll talk about schoolwork and classes. And, like, we've all collectively agreed that this is definitely the most stressful year.
Mm-hmm.
And because we know we're going to start preparing to go to colleges, get stuff ready for that, getting things ready to graduate. Like, I just set my schedule for next year. Most of us are finding jobs at this age. And just the schoolwork just gets so much harder. And it's, like, a lot. I don't know. I just feel like this year is super stressful. And now, like, with soccer starting, I've definitely been able to get outside and run around and get some air. And that definitely takes away some of the stress. But then I know, like, oh, I have this assignment due and I need to do my homework now. And I don't know. Do you think junior year was like the most stressful?
My junior year was definitely most stressful. My sophomore year was pretty sure stressful, but that's because I had more drama that year. So if I take that away, my junior year, academic-wise, relationship-wise, definitely more stressful my junior year.
Yeah.
I think that's whenever you still have your 4 core classes.
Yeah.
Seniors don't have to take all 4 core classes, and you've jumped into dual credit if you choose that. And so it really does just take it up a level your junior year.
Your middle year, it's like you didn't just start, but like you're about ready to finish. So it's like, it's kind of in that like muddy area where you just want to like, that's like the hardest year. That's where you have to like really pick things out.
Yeah.
You can ask the last question if you want.
Okay. And what do you think the number one cause in teenage mental health is? Like, what makes it bad usually?
I think that's a hard one. I think because it can differ for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I really think social media plays a big role in it. Yeah. I love technology, and so I think it has made so many parts about life better. But something about the constant social media trying to be connected to people, but not truly connected to people, has really affected theirs.
That's what we were talking about in English, was the whole like solitude and like being connected to people way. And I personally think that you are truly alone talking to people on social media. You're not getting that face-to-face thing. And like people are trying to connect to people and trying to get better relationships, but I truly think you cannot do that over social media. You have to have that face-to-face thing. And that's why I really think that relationships and friendships are so bad at the high school and even in the real world in college or like adults even, because everything's on social media. You can get away with more things. You can't hear the tone of their voice and things. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, miscommunications happen. And I think I was hearing some kids talk earlier about someone had posted something, then people reposted it on their stories. And it's like, you don't see in their face how that affected the other person. Yeah. So there's nothing in that. It just feels like clicking a button. You don't see like that hurt them or that they're about to cry. Like there's no impact for what you're doing. And whereas usually you would see and be like, oh, that made me feel bad, that I made them feel bad. And so social media is kind of taking that out.
And kind of going off that, like people will just post whatever and tag other people in it and just be super hateful, nasty online. And then just
they have no remorse for it because they're over a screen. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you guys are either miles apart, the next neighborhood over, but you're like, it's a screen. Like, they don't care about your feelings. And that's what I like to confront it, because then it's like, you're meeting the problem right here and right here, face to face. And then that's how you can get things solved.
Yeah. Going to social media to solve problems is never the right way to go. Like, you just need to, if you're going to be over the phone, at least just text the person. Don't post about them or try to call them out. Like, that really just, that does not help. That just makes it worse. It causes more problems in the end. And just, like, call them.
Yeah. Because I think people that are doing it on social media maybe need to reflect and ask themselves if they're really doing this to try and repair the relationship, or they're just trying to get a bunch of people on their side, and then it turns into this war of side to side.
I think that is so true. And like, I think it's more of how many friends can I get on my side, and then how can I make her feel bad, or how can I make him feel bad about themselves. And like, I think that instead of being like, you really hurt my feelings, like to Keely, I wouldn't post it. Like, I just wouldn't like go on social media on my private story, or like tell, like, just like post on my actual story, like, at Keely really hurt my feelings. Like, I'm not gonna do, like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I would rather just tell Keely straight up, because I feel like being on social media just makes the problem so much worse. Like, I would just rather tell you in person. So,
and like, also a lot of people will go on social media and type out this big old thing being like, you know, and then
it's like, and so I will say it feels intimidating, I think, even more so now to go face to face to someone, because we don't have that practice since there's so much social media. And so if you are in a conflict or you're struggling and you're not sure what to do, I mean, the school counselors are happy to talk through that, but there's a, like, go face to face when you're in a calm, emotional state. Use I messages. So instead of saying, well, you did this and you did that, I felt when blank. And it seems silly, but it makes a huge difference. You know, take time to hear their side and then hear your side and try to come to a compromise. And if you can't do it on your own, reach out to a trusted adult.
Yeah. So to close this out, what do you think, like, the top thing that you want everyone to know about how to solve it, how to solve your issues, whether you're a teenager or adult? Like, what is your number one thing that you would like to say to, like, maybe help their mental health a little bit better, to, like, help them with their relationships and friendships?
So to help with relationships and friendships, I think taking some time to try and put yourself in the other person's shoes. And maybe they really did do something that was wrong and wronged you, but just taking a moment to see, okay, maybe they did this because they have some other hurt from someone else, and so they're just reacting out on me. Or maybe they have this going on in their family, and so then they've reacted. So taking just a moment to put yourself in their shoes and then approaching it with the goal of, I really want to repair this relationship.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Talk about the Google form thing.
Oh, yeah. Really quick before we end here, we're going to be sending out a Google form linked with these videos. You can give us positive, negative feedback. Tell us if we helped you out. Tell us what we can do better. Yep. Like, we're trying to help you guys, but also you guys will be helping us. So, yeah. Thank you, Miss Con.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.